Hello, my name is Anthony Kazub. I'm the chair of the Audio Engineering Society here in Toronto, the Toronto section. I'm an audioaholic. I love audio, and I've got a little prototyping garage workshop that has a bunch of tools and gadgets. I'm going to talk a little bit about two things. I got two videos coming up, one about testers, and then one about what's the other one? One about testers, the other one about drilling a hole. So lately I've gone down this rabbit hole of machining, and I got myself into, oh my god, making machined parts. And it's always the tools and the other things that you need in order to actually make this stuff work. But I've very much subscribed to the Marie Kondo philosophy of grouping like things together and creating, storage for places where you can quickly gather things. So I have 3 major machines in my garage. Well, 4 if you count the console. So the Bridgeport is the main milling machine. So this handles all the drilling, milling, rotary stuff. Cool tool. This is the engraver. So if I want to engrave something or engrave like letters on something, it is able to actually reduce the thing up there to down here. And then you have all the little gadgets that go with it and the fonts. Then I have a lathe. So this is a hardened Elgin lathe. I've got a granite plate, a microscope, a scale, a cutter grinder, a little arbor press, another little drill press. That is a Porta-brand handsaw. So if you don't know anything about portable hand bandsaws, my gosh, game-changing gadget. But I do have a collection of wood tools, miter saw, table saw. Then I have this is not a weekend's worth of tool collecting. This is a lifetime's worth of tool collecting. So I have screwdrivers. I created this thing where I have the things that I need are accessible. It's on a slant. And then I created this little drop chute. So if I have like a screw, well, the longer it is, the further it goes back. And then I have these little tray bins that pull out stuff. So these are great. I don't know if anybody talked about these, but these Pick Quick, changeable things made in Canada, Canadian made product. But as you get into these tool addictions, you start getting into like drill bits and blocks and ways to hold things and ways to measure things and ways to calibrate things. Where's my little level? It's like a precision level. So, if your tape recorder is misbehaving, just dump a little level on it. Drills, things to drill things. I have testers, PCBs, I have air tools, I have just the things you need in order to service some of the stuff. It's just super fun. It's very much like a recording studio. Everything is like $150, and you get used to it, I guess. Then through here, behind the milling machine, I have my office and my lab. So this is my research and development test bench, and I have a vintage Wardbeck console, and I have a whole bunch of peripherals hooked up to it. So I have cables just throughout the house, and different power and stuff. But in the garage here, I have the garbage, I have the recycling, I have the compost, super important, battery charger just in case winter's coming. Printer. This is a vinyl cutter, so you have a vinyl sticker, and you can cut up vinyl stickers. This is a 4x6 label printer. Let me just tell you, I put that stuff everywhere. I find that putting these little stickers just absolutely everywhere is just so amazing, and saves you so much time. Paper shredder, of course. Roomba, heater, Wardbeck Systems L2042. That's been mostly modded and put on a shelf and mothballed. But I've got 3 or 4 computers running here, and depends, what's hooked up. Google Chromecast up top, and I have a set of Mackie HR824 monitors. And what I have going on here is a test setup, and all these test points are available on the patch point, but on the patch bay. But I typically use this. This is a Wardbeck Primo. In my previous employ, it was a product we designed. So I got a prototype. Software Design Decoded, great book. 101 Things I Learned in Engineering School, great book. File Interchange, Brad Gilmer, great book. This console, to interface it to the test world, I have EDAC 24s up there that interface it to a multiplexer that is up there, and that multiplexer can multiplex it to these isolation transformers. So I have HP, I can't remember what these are, 11005A. So I have two of those, and then I have this little patch panel, which is a 353A patch panel. And what you do is you can select your impedance. So, you know, kind of like an Audio Precision does without the relays, but, you know, it's 500, it's this. Is it above this frequency range or below this frequency range? I'd like to automate this with some servos, get another couple of these. These are really quite cool devices. Beautifully made, beautifully made. But, you know, the whole thing about it is to service this bench. So, you know, I have a piece of gear on the bench here, and I have a little, you know, a photo booth. And what I want to do is be able to service this piece of equipment. So you show up and, you know, there's, you know, in and out. And then I have up here, I have dedicated voltmeters that show me what I'm able to measure. So I have, you know, dedicated probes that are, you know, tied directly to these meters. But let's say if I wanted power, what I have is I have these programmable power DC power supplies, and what they do is they supply different various voltages to this panel that gives me other voltages that I consume. So if I have something that I need to test, I just plug it in, away it goes. But in order to do that, I also have the ability to probe. Then I have a current clamp, so I have a fluke current clamp. So if I want to clamp something, I just, you know, measure the current through that. Then I have these this is pod 22. This is SLM2. So these are VU meters that have phase indication. I have one of these. This is old. This is a 445. And what it does is it's a left-right meter. It's a phase indication and different termination. But you can set the different sensitivities. But then you take these two clips out, and this whole middle section kind of pops out. So this middle section just pops out, and this becomes battery-powered. But I'm sure the batteries are just long dead. On the bench, I keep it super clean as much as I possibly can. It's like my altar. And what I want to be able to do with it is keep it clean so I can have like one or maybe two things on at a time. I got into this. This is called a CZUR, and it's a camera on a stick, essentially. And anyway, I don't recommend it. But it's for scanning schematics. You put a schematic underneath with some special... I don't know if it works. These are my soldering irons. I got this Heiko. This is a 470, and this is, I don't know what this is. This is cheap. But the thing I did was I put it on a timer. So I put these soldering irons on a timer. So if I want to use my soldering irons, I'm going to turn it on for 5 minutes, because I was always leaving my soldering irons on. I have a couple different solders that I use, but, you know, it comes in and out. Must have. This is a Panavice. It is made by Panavice, and you should have a Panavice. In my toolbox, this is my local, you know, to the console toolbox. These are Weehaw screwdrivers. So Weehaw have these little dimples, and what you can do is you can put them in the screwdriver and set it to any height you actually want. Just beautiful screwdrivers. Then you have, you know, different current probes, different clamps, different, you know, probes for, you know, clipping onto things and probing things, oscilloscope clamps, some QTP, you know, some of the DB25 adapters, some of the DB25 to banana, some just weird tester stuff. So this is all, again, AES-72. So this was all, you know, AES-72 development stuff. But one thing I really like is this. This is a Pelican. So this, look, let's see if I can do that. It folds. All the drawers close nicely into this huge What is this? This is a Pelican. It's an EMS case. So it's a 1640. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff you can get yourself into. And you can get yourself into some serious trouble when you get into some of the oscilloscopes and the test and measuring equipment and procedures. Then, for me, it's getting into the prototyping and designing and the ability to machine something and the ability to create something from scratch. I'm really excited about having that in my house, and you should be too, because this is not a huge investment, and there's a lot of ways that you can get things, on the cheap through eBay and various communities. And I gotta say, the Facebook Marketplace for all of this stuff is where I got a big chunk of it. Hope you enjoyed. Be well.